Welcome back to Conversation with Cardinal Dolan. I am Father Dave Dwyer, and we are joined now by Father Brian Shanley. He's a Dominican priest and former president of Providence College in Rhode Island, but has just been named the new president of St. John's University, Vincentian University here in New York City. Welcome to Conversation with Cardinal Dolan, Father Brian Shanley.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Father Brian, not as delighted as we are to have you on the show, Conversations with Cardinal Dolan, but to have you in the greater New York area. This is good. We have a New Year's resolution that our show would be much more dry, cerebral, academic, and boring. So we've had you and the... No, you have to remember that the last show that we had, before Christmas, the highlight of it was my mom's green bean casserole recipe. So that's how
Plus
far.
all that great music,
That's how far we have elevated this conversation. Because you yourself are a philosopher, right? Or a Thomistic theologian?
I am a philosopher by training, but I also have a theology degree, and my expertise is the thought of Thomas Aquinas.
Way to go. And as a priest of the Order of Preachers, of which St. Thomas is one of the radiant stars, we're thrilled to have you. This is fascinating. Everybody in New York knows St. John's University and reveres it. And I hope the people in the rest of the country do. But it's interesting because it's a university that was founded by the Vincentian fathers. You, though, are a Dominican. How did that happen?
Well, the short answer is God. And
that's always safe.
When I stepped down after 15 years of Providence College, and I was taking a sabbatical to discern what it is that God wanted me to do next. And I prayed every day for the freedom to accept whatever door God was going to open to me. And then one day in the middle of August, I got an email from a parent of PC students who's a St. John's alum saying, "Gee, I wish St. John's could get somebody like you." And then 2 days later, the headhunter called me and I said, "Okay, God, this is a door you're opening." And I said, "Yeah, I'm interested." And here I sit today. So I didn't plan it. I've learned if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I didn't have a plan. I said, "God, show me the way." And that phone call was the beginning of the next path in my life. So I could not be happier, because I think this really is an answer to my prayer.
Well, we're happy you've taken that path, Father Brian, and that you've been open to God's direction. My admiration for you, I admired the good work that you had done for a decade and a half as president of Providence College up in Rhode Island. But my admiration is enhanced because higher education in administration these days is not a serene, easy task. And for you to go back into it, you've got a lot of faith or you're a fool. And I think I know you well enough to know you've got a lot of faith. Explain to me the attraction, because something tells me there must have been a part of you saying, this will be great. I'll be able to research and write and teach again theology and philosophy. I don't have to worry about administration. But no, you're back in it. Speak to us about the kind of like the tug that you felt into leadership in Catholic higher education.
Well, I feel like God has prepared me along the way for what was coming next. So I was an academic at Catholic U for 11 years, and unbeknownst to me, that was preparing me to be the president of Providence College for 15 years. And then, having run a relatively small school compared to St. John's, I thought that if I was going to do the president's thing again and do that kind of ministry, I wanted something very different from what I had at Providence College. I wanted something bigger that was going to stretch me, where I was going to be challenged. And so when the St. John's door opened, I'm like, this is exactly what I was looking for. St. John's is 20,000 students. Providence College is 5. St. John's has multiple campuses, has international presence. It's in New York. It's a school that has remained faithful to its founding mission, and it's a first-gen school of opportunity. Everything about St. John's was exciting to me. Plus, it's still in the Big East, so I can watch a lot of college hoops and I've been rooting for St. John's for years, except when they play Providence, and now I have to switch sides and start
Father,
rooting for St.
And
John's.
Father Brian, I went to Syracuse, so we got. I know they're out of the conference now, but back in my day, St. John's, we were.
Father Brian, you're a Dominican. Are you a member of the East Coast Province?
I am.
Oh,
yes.
good. So, where can I ask you where you're going to live? Will you live on campus or?
There's a president's house literally next door to the campus, not exactly on it. So I will be living in that house.
Okay, you won't be living in a Dominican Priory. You'll be attached to one, and I guess you'll go there maybe on weekends and all. But you'll always be welcome on Manhattan. St. John's, of course, is in Queens in the Diocese of Brooklyn, but we're still very, very fond of it. Would you talk to me a bit about your own theological and philosophical background? I think you've got some books to your credit, and what have you taught in the past, and are you going to be able to do that now?
Yeah, my expertise was obviously the thought of Aquinas, and I was interested in very arcane metaphysical stuff in St. Thomas, but also in his ethics. And I wrote a few books on St. Thomas. I edited the Thomas for a while. Since I've become president, it's really hard to stay in the thick of things from an academic point of view, but I have regularly taught an ethics course. And I hope once I get my feet on the ground at St. John's to continue teaching, because I think talking with young people about what it means to live a good life is a really rich and rewarding experience. And it kept me grounded when I was president of Providence, that I was meeting every week with a group of young people talking about the meaning of life. And that really reminds me of what the purpose of Catholic higher education is.
Wow.
So I hope to be able to continue that at St. John's.
Do you know, Father Shanley, there's another university president, Catholic University, who himself is a philosopher and a theologian with a background in both Augustine and St. Thomas, and that's Father John Jenkins at Notre Dame. And he told me, he said he's doing a fine job there, but he told me his dream is to be able to return to his philosophy and theology when this is all over. I mean, he's relishing and doing a good job now, but and I guess you kind of long for that as well. Do you try during your day to carve out time? Obviously, you carve out time for prayer. That's essential to you as a priest. Do you try to carve out time still for study and writing and research at all?
You know, I haven't written anything for probably 7 or 8 years. Once you get into a capital campaign, your ability to
You're telling me?
kind of goes down.
By the way, stay out of the archdiocese. You're welcome here all the time. We work together. You give Joe McShane a run for his money at Fordham. There, right?
Oh, I will. I'm ready for that. Yeah. So I try every day, if I can carve out an hour or so for serious philosophical reading. And the last 6 months that I've been off, I've been plowing through philosophy books and ethics, and it's been great. And I've just been thinking recently, it's like, oh, those days are gone. If I get that spare hour at St. John's, I'll take it. But my main ministry at St. John's is administration, and it's people, and
sure. And
how do you connect?
You're darn good at it. I had mentioned to Father Brian, everybody in the break, that we three bishops, Bishop Barris, Bishop DiMarzio, and myself, we send our college seminarians to St. John's for their philosophy. That's how much trust we have in that. It's a good program, and something tells me with you there, it's even going to get better. So that we look forward to. Father Brian, you're always welcome. It'll be good to have you as a neighbor. Would you come back if we invited you? You know, Father Dave, he'll be good for some ethical questions that we often speak about.
Absolutely. We like those Thomistic ethical questions.
We like those ethics, and we're used to, you know, Father Dave is a Paulist, and of course you're not going to get much intellectual life out of that.
Nope.
All right. Father Brian, when does school actually...
Love to be on again.
When will the semester actually start?
At the end of January.
Okay.
So, but I'll be moving to St. John's sometime the end of next week.
Way to go.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm going to invite you in, okay? Good to see you.
Great. Love to do that.
Father Brian Shanley, the new president of St. John's University. We're glad to have him.